Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Virtual Agent Academy. Let's go ahead and get started. Before we begin, just a quick note about our VA NLU community. Feel free to check it out if you haven't already. Explore best practices and up-to-date content, and use experience of others and ask questions and give answers. If you're watching from YouTube, feel free to subscribe to this channel and to get our VA Academy videos all the time. If you like what you're seeing, if you have any questions, feel free to click the like button, click on comments. Great. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about what happens before a conversation. We're going to learn how to complement your agent chat experience with a pre-chat survey. Our main speaker today will be Samyuktha Reddy. She's an outbound product manager for conversational interfaces, focusing on agent chat and advanced work assignment. I'm Victor. You probably heard about me already, so I won't introduce myself. And today we're going to do a quick overview on what pre-chat survey is, what it can do for you. And then Samyuktha is going to go over an exercise on how to configure pre-chat survey, and we'll wrap with Q&A. We can also do Q&A throughout the entire session. Please use the Q&A button, not the chat, the Q&A button if you have any questions. All right, with that, we'll jump right into the deck. Samyuktha, all yours.
Thank you, Victor. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining today's Academy session. To start with the pre-chat surveys. So we use pre-chat surveys to ask a common set of questions to the end user before assigning to a particular agent. So the business need is users need a way in chat to survey users before a live agent is connected. And some of the key features are to determine how a live agent chat should be routed, like what question they have asked and what category they have choose based on that a live agent is assigned. And also a pre-chat surveys are also conservation based and accessible in all clients and adapters. Next slide, please. So there are different use cases for agent routing. One is directly using an agent chat using a pre-chat survey, like an end user answers the pre-chat survey based on his answered questions, it's assigned to the agent. And the second use case is through the virtual agent only. We don't need a pre-chat when we are assigning from virtual agent to live agent. We can use a VA topics to route to the right agent. And the third use case is a virtual agent to hand off to a live agent. Again, in this process, we may or may not require pre-chat. It totally depends on your business use case, but for the best practices, always use context routing based on what context the VA is assigning to handing off to the live agent, and the live agent based on their capacity and availability and the skills assignment rules, it will be assigned to the right agent in the queue. Next slide, please. For today's exercise, I'm going to show how a pre-chat configuration being done to assign a end user specific category type of a question to the right agent. So the steps that I'll be following is there's a chat setup where I'll be creating a context variable. Then I'll create a survey designer, which is linked to the pre-chat survey module. Again, the survey designer is connected to the context variable that we have created in the chat setup. That's the link between the chat setup and the survey designer to understand for what context it's trying to connect to the pre-chat survey. And based on the selections that's been chosen by an end user, the survey designer will route to the right queues. And within the queues, we also define what is the context variable that the queue is getting activated on. And then it will look at the assignment rules that's been assigned to connect to the right live agent. I'll be doing an exercise showing in my instance how this whole setup works. Next slide, please. Okay.
All right, I'll go ahead and stop my share, and Sam, you can start your share for the exercise.
Let's say I logged into an instance as an admin, and the first step that I do is I'll go to chat setup. So in the chat setup, I'll click on new and create a new CSP category because I wanted a new context. So I'm creating CSP underscore category. Just provide the name and save it. And please do remember, this is your variable that you will be using for your entire pre-chat configuration, linking your chat setup with a survey, with the queues, how to route to the live agent. Now, once this is done, go to pre-chat survey. Now, in pre-chat survey, click new and create a new pre-chat survey. So here I have created test CSP pre-chat. Just click on activate to make this survey activated. You can provide an order. The use of order is when you have multiple pre-chats and you want to show them one by one based on the order, it will be picked. And for our exercise, I'm just going with the simple condition. So there is no other conditions. If you want a specific conditions, you can also define those conditions. But for this exercise, it is not required. Now here, survey is the one where a survey designer is used to create a survey desk pre-chat survey. So I'll go to this record. So if you look at the survey definition, you can create a new one, or you can use any of our existing out of the box survey definitions. Now in the options I have provided, so service portal view is based on the category. And then if you look at the bottom, there's a metric categories one. I have assigned a survey desk pre-chat survey. Now, when I click on this pre-chat survey, I have added two questions to ask the end users. What type of an issue are you facing? And I made it as a choice. And the second question is, can you provide details of your issue? It's a string so that they can text uh, some questions or what they are looking for. Now, again, when I click on this, I want to assign what are the choices that I want to provide or show to the end user. Now, this is very important where you will be assigning your created new context variable, which is CSP underscore category, to your survey question. Now, here in the assessment metrics definitions, I have added some of the choices to end user to visible in an order. So inquiry help, not sure, software, any software issues, click on software, any hardware issues, any network or database, billing issues, product issues. For our exercise, for today's exercise, I'm choosing billing issues and product issues. Again, here in the context, you do have to look at the context that you have created. So just go to the search option and look for the newly created context variable. So if you see here, there is one, just click on that and save the record. Now going to the second question. So I have not linked any context here for this question because for my queue to understand, it just need only the category type, which I have assigned in the first question. This is an useful information that I want to show to the agent to know what exactly the issue is. So for that, I have just added a context variable issue underscore description to this particular question, and it is a string. Now going back to survey definition, how do we create these questions? So click on your survey designer and add your survey pre-chat survey. So the questions, then add any question, then provide your settings as type as choices, and then add your list of choices. Once you add these questions and these choices, when you go back, it will automatically gets it created, metrics category, and the next set of the questions. Now, once that is done, let's go to advanced work assignment, because all our queues will be routed through advanced work assignments. In our service channels, for this exercise, it is a chat. So I have selected the chat and it is active, it is true. And in the next questions, I'll be choosing 3 queues. I already have a bunch of queues for the sake of the less time. So let's get into these and dig deeper for the details. So all you have to do is, if you don't have these queues exist on your system, that's well and good. So click on new. And when you click on new, provide your category name. So for our exercise, I'm focusing on billing support and product support. So this is the queue that I'm creating for billing support. So provide the name and then provide the condition. This is where you're going to link the category, the context that you have created, context.csp underscore category. So you can search here and do a dot walk to find this context cs underscore category and provide the names. This name, the billing name, has to be same as the name that you have provided in the survey designer. So I have given one as a billing issues, and just for just an additional one, I have given another name as well, like in billing one. So if you have a different names, you can also just define those different names. So whenever a category is selected by the end user, if it is a different names, it will immediately picked and tagged into this category, and it comes to this billing support queue. Now we have assigned the category and the initial agent response. So I have provided, thank you for contacting support. I'm looking into your question now and will be with you shortly. You can change it as per your business need as well. Now in this billing category, I have added 2 queues. So one is billing support. My first preference is whenever a request comes to this queue, it goes to the billing support and it waits for 30 seconds and no agent response in billing supports. I want it to go to the product support. That's an overflow feature. But for today's exercise, we are not focusing much on the overflow. I'm just showing how we can route from one group to another group. Now, when I click on this billing survey, billing support, I have also assigned an assignment rule. The same has been repeated for the product support as well. So now I'm clicking on product support. It's a new queue. And I have added my conditions, context CSP category. This time I'm using product issue and the product as my category names to capture, understand? And then the initial agent response message for the generic acknowledgement to the end user. And here my prime focus is a product support. And let's say if no agents takes a request in product support group, it can overflow to billing support group. Again, this is not mandatory that you must have any billing support as an overflow. It's again case to case. Now, once this is done, so what I'll do is I'll go to groups. So I have created 2 groups. One is the billing support group. Now click on the billing support group. So I have added two agents, Beth Angelin and Fred Reddy, as my agents who will be taking all the interactions that come to the billing support queue. As the same, I'm going to the product support, and in product support, I added agents Beth Angelin again and Ned Stark as another agent. Now let's look at the present status. So available, away, offline. These are the status that's available for the agents. Now let's look like how many agents are online and offline. Right now, all the agents are offline. So what I do is I'll show the demo how the context variable for the pre-chat works. So what I'm doing is I'm using Able as my end user, Fred as my agent in billing support, and Ned Stark as my agent in product support. So at first I'll go to Ned, Fred. I'll go to his agent workspace. And I'm going to make him available. So Fred is available. Now I'm going to Ned. I do the same. I'll go to his agent workspace and I'm making Ned available. Now as an end user, I logged in as an Able. Who has some issues with the billing and product. Let's see how he's going to get the help. The moment he clicks on the chat icon, so the first question that will be asked to Able is, what type of an issue are you facing? Because this is the pre-chat config that we have defined, asking two questions to the end user before assigning to the agent. So Able selects billing issues and he provides, can you provide details of your issue? Now, based on the category that he selected, our AWA will automatically goes to the interaction in his inbox, and he got the chat interaction. So Fred accepts and he'll start his conversation with Able. And Able receives messages from Fred Reddy agent. Let's say Able felt that the problem is not with the billing support, problem is with the product. Let's cancel this conversation and start a new conversation. So Able starts new conversation. This time he selects product issue. And can you provide details for issues? He says something wrong with MacBook. And here we are just going to the live agent support. Now this request has to go to Nerd. So I logged into Nerd and I see there is a chat waiting for Nerd to accept or reject. So I'm going to accept. Now Nerd makes a conversation with the end user to solve his problem. That's all the demo. And let's give some time for the Q&A. So please do ask your questions. Anything related to pre-chat surveys. Thank you.
So yeah, we'll take questions here. I think everything that we showed in configuration still holds, despite whatever the routing process worked or didn't work. So if there's any questions, let us know, and then we will post a recording or perhaps a re-recording of everything in the next couple of days. And then don't forget, we have another VA Academy in another 2 weeks, two Wednesdays from now, November 2nd, I believe. And with that, we'll take questions. So this is, now that you've gotten a sense of what the pre-chat can do, we want to hear about how you're going to, what your use case is for pre-chat. And, we pass this on to our inbound product managers for them to know about how folks use their product as well. Looks like a bit of a horse race between better agent routing and collecting context to better prep the agents. As you saw in the presentation, both are possible. Just to note, though, even if you do not have a question that asks for text to send to the agent, all the previous conversation between the virtual agent is sent to the agent when you hand off from a virtual agent to a live agent. That's if you don't use pre-chat survey. With pre-chat survey, yeah, you're going to need to, it'll be helpful to have like a couple questions just so that the live agent is suitably prepped. All right. We have one question. Sam, I don't know if we have time, but I'll ask it anyway. So how is adoption of agent workspace and agent chat in the industry?
Yeah. So the agent chat sits in the agent workspace. So you do need agent workspace to use agent chat panel. So without agent workspace, your agent cannot look at the chats or do an interaction with the end user. So the both has to be activated on your instance.
Okay. And do you see a lot of customers using agent chat and agent workspace in your conversations?
Yes, as we were having Connect support and we are planning deprecation plan for Connect support, and we are highly encouraging all the customers to move on to the agent chat and AWA. So there's a lot of customers who are implementing agent chat and they are configuring the agent workspace.
Yeah, and I'll just add, this is Virtual Agent Academy, so we do always try to use Virtual Agent as the first line of defense for support to deflect, save agents time. But we always recommend having an agent fallback eventually for more complex questions or more, for more complex questions. Oh, Wei Lin asks, any tentative time frame for deprecating Connect support?
Yes. So we are planning to deprecate, our deprecation plan is already started, and we are encouraging customers from this release onwards to move on to the agent chat.
And then let's see, next question is about Virtual Agent Lite. We do have some documentation on Virtual Agent Lite. There's honestly not much to demo because it's, as you can imagine, it's not, it's light. But take a look at the documentation. You don't get NLU or Virtual Agent Designer, but you do get 2 out-of-box topics that give a taste of what is capable with a full virtual agent. And I agree, it is a great gateway to getting folks interested in virtual agent. We have time, unfortunately, for just one more question. Are there any gotchas to look out for when moving from Connect support to agent chat and to agent chat and agent workspace? This April Edwards is asking this. I think this unfortunately be the last question we can answer today. We do have community articles about migrating from Connect support to agent chat and agent workspace, as well as benefits and all the steps needed to do so. I'll answer one more question. Someone asked, how flexible is it to expose our VA indent? I'm going to assume that meant client to other chat platforms in an organization. I would do a search, Sivarman, on our virtual agent API. And yeah, and that makes it possible. All right, we are now at time. Thank you all for attending Virtual Agent Academy. See you the following Tuesday. Thank you, everyone.